Hello students, good evening everyone. I hope all are doing well. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions. So here is another session for the SCORE examination. As we already know, today is September 26, right? This is the right time or the last time to register for the SCORE examination. Only 2 days are remaining for the SCORE examination, right? So this is the India's largest scholarship examination conducted by the Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions or the Sri Chaitanya Academy. So first lot exam will be conducting on September 28 before 26. Before today you need to register for the examination, right? So we know that exciting gadgets are providing here, right? It is about the 100% scholarship, and as over that you can see exciting gadgets as well as around 350 crores of scholarships and 2.5 crores of cash rewards are provided by the SCORE examination of the Sri Chaitanya Academy, and the exciting opportunity is the NASA trip. We know that, right? So don't miss this opportunity. Those who are not registered, register now only, and today is the deadline for the registration for the SCORE examination. So let's talk more about the SCORE examination, right? Why we are conducting SCORE examination? Hi Maitri, J aspirant, hi. So this is the national level SCORE examination is the national level examination for the students from grade 3 to 12 conducted by the Sri Chaitanya, and this format will be online as well as offline is there, right? Maybe you have an idea about that. So our aim or the goal is to identify and reward the academic talent. So don't miss this opportunity. I'm repeating again. Today is the last day to register for the examination. So just mark on your calendar, September 28 is the exam date, first test date for the SCORE examination, and last day to register is September 26, and for the second test date that will be on the October 12, right? October 12, last date is for October 10, and the date of exam will be depends on the exam centers you choose. Okay, fine. So here we are going to discuss the complete revision or the mock test for the grade 10. Let us just focus about the syllabus of the chemistry, syllabus of the SCORE examination, right? Yes, you can attend the SCORE examination, no issues. So you need to register before today. Then we know that, right, in the case of grade 10, we will be conducting, SCORE examination will be based on the 20 questions will be for the mental ability, 20 for the maths, and 20 remaining questions for the science part, which include physics, bio and chemistry, right? So we just want to focus about the grade 10 chemistry syllabus over here. I hope you can see over here. The first syllabus, very important chapter is from the grade 9, that is the structure of atom, right? So structure of atom is one of the important chapter that you need to focus for the SCORE examination. Then next 3 chapters are from the grade 10 syllabus, right? First chapter is the chemical reactions and equations. You can expect more questions based on the balancing of chemical reactions and types of chemical reactions. Then metals and non-metals, right? Based on the reactivity series, you can expect more questions. Then acid, bases and salt, right? Acid, base and salt is also a very important chapter for the SCORE examination. So let's start from our first question. For the complete revision mock test for the grade 10, here is the first question. Just try to solve the question. This is from the chapter structure of atom. The maximum number of electrons that can be accommodated in the second shell of an atom. So please tell me the answer. What will be the answer? The maximum number of electrons that present in the case of second shell. So what will be the answer? So we have studied, right? If you want to find out the maximum number of electrons present in a shell, there will be a formula known as 2n square, where n is the number of shell, right? From this formula, you can find out the number of electrons present in a particular shell, right? So what about the case of here? Here n value is equal to 2, right? So I am taking here 2n square means 2 into 2 square, that is equal to 2 into 4, 8, right? So 8 will be the correct answer, which means option C is the correct answer. So this is for the L shell, right? We know that this is a L shell. Then if you are asking about the case of K shell, what about the value of n? N is equal to 1, right? So that is equal to 2 into 1 square, which means 2. Then what about the case of M shell? M shell means n value is equal to 3, right? So again 2n square is equal to 2 into 3 square. 3 square is 9. 2 into 9, that is equal to 18. Then last shell, n is equal to 4 over here, right? So 2n square is equal to 2 into 4 square, that is 2 into 16, 32. So that you can identify the number of electrons, number of maximum electrons present in the 4 different shells, K, L, M, N, N. I hope you understand, right? So this is the main formula. You have to keep in mind that to find out the number of electrons present in a shell. Now let me move to the second question. Which of the following statements is correct about isotopes? So this question is again from the chapter Structure of Atom we have studied in the grade 9, right? We can't predict the paper, right? So try to solve maximum questions. It will be easier or harder. And the pattern will be like that. There will be 15 questions from the chemistry. Chemistry in the case of science part. Out of 15 questions, 10 questions are single answer type question and 5 questions will be multi-answer type question. You can get the multi-answers, right? So that is the pattern of the science examination for the science questions for the score examination here. So what will be the answer for this question? Maybe you will feel like that this is very easy. You can expect harder type of questions, right? So what do you mean by isotopes? How we can define the isotopes? These are the same elements, right? They will be having the same atomic number but different mass number. So same atomic number means they will be having the same number of protons, right? Then from the mass number we can identify the protons and neutrons, sum of the protons and neutrons, right? So here you can say that whenever they are isotopes, they will be having the different neutrons. So what will be our correct answer? Same number of protons but different neutrons, which means option B will be the correct answer for the case of isotopes. Is that clear? Similarly, you can define the case of isobars also. Isobars is a reverse, right? The element which is having the same mass number but different atomic numbers. That is about the case of isobars. Here is the third question. If the atomic number of an element is 17, what is its valency? So try to write down the configuration, electronic configuration of the element, then identify their valency. So we know that what you mean by valency, right? It will be the number of electrons lost or gained during the reaction, that is the valency. So what about the case of element with the atomic number 17? We know that, right, the element with atomic number is 17 will be chlorine, or you can write down the electronic configuration as normal subshell electronic configuration is 287, right? 287, which means in the outer shell we know that they will be attaining octet or stability. For the stability they will be attaining 8 electrons. So what is their condition? Already 7 electrons are there, right? So they can easily accept or the gain 1 electrons, which means valency of these element will be equal to 1. I hope you understand. That's why chlorine is always exists as the monovalent atom. So if they are asking about any, case of any of the element, you can write down the electronic configuration and identify the number of electrons gained or lost to get an stability of octet or the 8 electrons in their valence shell, right? That will be the correct answer. Here it will be option A. Yes, option A is the correct answer. Here is the next question. An atom has atomic number 15 and mass number 31. How many protons, neutrons and electrons are present in that atom? So most of the questions are from the chapter Structure of Atom. So how we can find out the proton number, electron number and neutron number by using atomic number and the mass numbers. Okay, please tell me the answer, how we can find out the value of protons, neutrons by using the atomic number and mass number. We know that, right? In the case of atomic number represented by the Z, that will be the number of electrons in the neutral atom as well as the number of protons, right? Then what about the case of mass number? Mass number can be represented by the letter A, which is given as the sum of number of protons and neutrons, right? So, number of protons and neutrons. So what it is given here, it will be having an atom having the atomic number 15, which means that they will be containing 15 electrons and 15 protons, right? Z is equal to 15 means it will be containing 15 electron and 15 proton. I hope you got the point. Then how we can find out the number of neutrons? Number of neutrons will be equal to, number of neutrons will be represented by the letter N, that is equal to. Here I can written, right? A is equal to number of protons will be the atomic number plus number of neutrons. Then what will be the value of number of neutrons? That will be equal to A minus Z, right? Mass number minus atomic number. So here mass number is 31. 31 minus 15. That will be equal to 16, right? So 16 is the number of neutrons. So what will be our final answer? Option B, right? 15 proton, 16 neutron and 15 electron will be the correct answer for the neutrons, electrons and protons for the atom with atomic number 15 and mass number 31. Clear? Now we are moving to the next question. Which of the following species is isoelectronic with the neon with atomic number 10? Isoelectronic. Iso means same, right? Electronic means they have the same number of electrons. So what about the case of neon? Neon will be having the atomic number 10, which is understood that they will be containing number of electrons. In the case of neon, the number of electrons is equal to 10, right? Now you need to identify these species in which they are containing the 10 number of electrons. That will be known as the isoelectronic species, right? So what about the case of first, F minus ion? How we can find the number of electrons? In the case of fluorine, they will be containing atomic number is 9. So number of electrons in the neutral atom will be 9, right? It is F minus, which means 1 electron is accepting. So 9 plus 1, that is equal to 10 is the total number of electrons here in the case of F minus ion. Then what about the case of Na plus? Sodium will be having atomic number of 11, which means number of electrons are 11 for the neutral atom. Then Na plus ion means 1 electron is losing. Again 11 minus 1 is equal to 10 electrons. Similarly, in the case of magnesium, atomic number is 12, right? So 12 electrons are present in the case of neutral atom. 2 electrons are losing, that's why they are forming the Mg2 plus ion, right? So 12 minus 2, again 10, which means that all of these options are isoelectronic with the neon. So option D will be the correct answer. Here is our next question. This question is from the chapter metals and non-metals depending upon the reactivity series. Which of the following metals displays copper from its salt solution? So try to identify the reactivity series of metals, right? So identify the position of copper and these elements. Then you can identify in the case of any solution, the high reactive metals easily displace the low reactive metal from their solution, right? So we will write down the complete reactivity series here. So this is the complete reactivity series of metals, right? So what is the position of iron and copper? Which one is more reactive? As we already know, right? If you are moving from top to bottom, from potassium to gold, reactivity decreases, right? Reactivity decreases. So if you are comparing the reactivity of iron and copper, iron is more reactive than the copper. What about the case of other elements? Okay, there is again mercury is already present here. So these mercury, silver and gold are the less reactive than copper, that cannot displace the copper from the solution. So the only one possibility is the case of iron. So option A will be the correct answer here. So I hope you understand. Here is the next question. Which of these is a double displacement reaction? We have studied the different types of chemical reactions, right? Like displacement reaction, composition reaction, decomposition reaction, combination reaction, and double displacement reaction. Here you need to identify the double displacement reaction. So what do you mean by the double displacement? There will be displacement when two different ions are happening, right? So as you can see over here in the case of second reaction, what is happening? Lead is displaced by the copper. Lead is displaced from the lead nitrate solution, as well as potassium is displaced from the potassium iodide solution, which means two displacements is happening here. That is why this is known as the double displacement reaction. Then in the case of last reaction, you can see, right, there is only one single displacement is happening. Copper is displaced from the copper sulfate solution by zinc atom, right? So this is the single displacement reaction. Then combination reaction, we have already idea about that, right? Two or more reactants combine together to form the single product is known as the combination, and just reverse of the combination reaction is known as the decomposition reaction. So option B will be the correct answer. Yes, Surmendu, you are correct. Now we are moving to the next question. Which of the following metals is commonly allowed to prevent rusting of iron? In the chapter of chemical reactions, and equation, as well as the metals and non-metals, we have studied the process of corrosion, right? So one of the most important example for the corrosion is the rusting of iron. Option D, right? Let's see what is the answer. Option C will be the correct answer, right? We have already studied the preparation of option B, right? Chromium. Option B is the correct answer, chromium. So we know that, right, while preparing for the stainless steel, that is obviously we are avoiding the rusting of iron, right? Iron is mixing with the chromium to form the stainless steel, right? So this is an application level question. So option B will be the correct answer. Which of the following metals is commonly alloyed to prevent? This is an alloy. Stainless steel is an alloy of iron which is combining with the chromium. So Nendu, I hope you understand. Option B is the correct answer, not zinc. Here is our next question. Study the following chemical reaction and you need to identify the reducing agent in this particular reaction. So we have already studied in the case of chemical reactions, right, how we can define the oxidation reduction in terms of oxidation number method, classical concept, right, by the addition or removal of oxygen. Then we have studied about the electronic concept also. You can use any of the method to identify the oxidation reduction in the redox reaction given here. Then you can identify the reducing agent. Yes, option A, right? Option A is the correct answer. So how we can predict here which one is undergoing reduction and which one is undergoing oxidation? Let's take the oxidation number concept, right? So here sodium will be having the elemental form or the metal form, so they will be having the oxidation number of 0, right? What about the case of water? H plus, I mean hydrogen is the +1 state, oxygen is the -2. Then here in the case of NaOH, sodium hydroxide, right? Sodium will be having +1 charge, OH minus dot, it is -1. Then hydrogen diatomic form, elemental form, this is again having the oxidation state of 0. So what is happening here in the case of sodium, sodium will be increases its oxidation number from 0 to +1, right? 0 to +1 means it is the oxidation, right? Oxidation. So sodium is oxidized. What about the case of hydrogen here? +1 to 0 means reduction. So reduction of water will be happening here. So we can define the reducing agent and oxidizing agent depending upon the reduction process and oxidation process, right? So reducing agent is the substance that helps in the reduction of another substance by itself undergoing oxidation. I hope you understand the point. Any substance which helps in the oxidation of another substance by itself undergoing reduction. So by itself undergoing oxidation, right? This is about the case of reducing agent, and if they are asking about the case of oxidizing agent, just reverse, right? Oxidizing agent helps in the oxidation of another substance by itself undergoing reduction. So here the one which is undergoing oxidation is the sodium, so that is why sodium is known as the reducing agent in this reaction. Is that clear? Now we are moving to our next question. Which of the following non-metals is a good conductor of electricity in one of its allotropic forms? Read the question carefully. One of the non-metal which is present in the case of allotropic form, they will be conducting electricity. C, right? Is absolutely correct. Option C is the correct answer, graphite. So we know that graphite is the allotrope of carbon, right? As you can see over in the nips of pencil, a shiny surface is present, right? So this is known as the graphite. It is the easy conductor or the good conductor of electricity. So this is the only one non-metal which is conductor of electricity. So we have studied, right, the properties of the metals and non-metals. Generally, metals are the conductors of electricity, but in the case of exceptional cases, in the case of carbon, they are allotropic form of the graphite. Even though they are non-metal, then also they will conduct electricity. Clear? So as we already know about the pattern of score examination, right, out of 15 questions, you can get the 10 questions for the single answer type, and the remaining 5 questions will be multi-answer type. So the next question onwards, you will be getting the multi-answers. Just try to solve the question. Which statements are true for neutrons? You can expect more than one answers here. Read the options one by one. Which statements are true for neutrons? This is subatomic particles, right? Okay, B and C, right? Any other answers? Yes, Surnetu, you are correct. Option B and C are the correct answers, right? We know that in the case of neutrons, we have already studied the different subatomic particles like electrons, protons and neutrons, right? So in the case of electron, they will be having a negatively charged, proton is positively charged and neutron is chargeless. They are neutral, right? So option B will be the correct answer. They have no charge. Then they were discovered by Chadwick. We have studied about the discovery of fundamental particles or the subatomic particles. So the neutrons are discovered by Chadwick, right? Then what about the case of first option? Where is the position of these neutrons, whether it is present inside the nucleus or outside the nucleus? Obviously, neutrons are present inside the nucleus, right, along with protons. So that is why protons and neutrons are commonly known as nucleons. Present inside the nucleus, right? Then what about this last one? They are lighter than electrons. We know that they are heavier than electrons, right? So this is again the incorrect statement regarding the neutrons. So can we move to the next question? Here is the next question. Which of the following salts in water produce an alkaline solution? So this is a very important question, very important type of question from the chapter acid, bases and salt. Depending upon the parent acid, depending upon the strength of the parent acid and parent base, you need to identify the nature of the salt, whether it is acidic, basic or the neutral solution, right, neutral salt. We need to identify which one in water will produce alkaline solution. So I hope you understand the question. B and D, right? Yes, correct. Option B. Option A and D, right? Let's see how we can solve this. D is almost correct, but B will be incorrect, right? So how we can solve this problem? D only. This is a multiple answer type question, right? You can expect more than one answers. So D is correct. Well, let us see in the case of Na2CO3. What is our first step? We need to identify the parent acid and parent base, right? So I am taking the salt over here, Na2CO3. Our first step, we will be dividing this into the cations and anions, right? Cations and anions. We know that in the case of here, sodium will be the cation, right? Plus charge here, and CO3 2 minus is the anion here. So what I am doing, I am adding water molecule to make the acid and base, right? So here it will be producing, right? Let's take NaOH, right? NaOH plus H2CO3. I hope you got the point how we are finding the parent acid and base, right? First step, we need to divide this particular salt into cations and anions, then add water molecules. Water molecules means H plus and OH minus, right? H plus and OH minus. So what I am doing, I am mixing the cations with the OH minus ion and mixing the anions with the H plus ion. So we are getting the parent acid and parent base. So this is our sodium hydroxide, this is the carbonic acid. So what is the nature of sodium hydroxide, whether it is strong base or weak base? Sodium hydroxide. So it is a strong base, right? Sodium hydroxide. So this is strong base. What about the case of carbonic acid, H2CO3? Is weak acid, right? Whenever strong base and weak acid are combined together, the one which is having the strength will be having the nature of the salt, which means the given salt will be basic in nature or alkaline solution in water. Did you got the point? Yes, sodium hydroxide is a strong base, right? Now, what about the case of next one, NH4Cl? I hope you have doubt in the case of NH4Cl, right? I am repeating the same method, divided into the cations and anions, so you will be getting for the this one, right? NH4Cl, you will be getting ammonium hydroxide as the parent base and HCl as the parent acid, right? What is the nature of ammonium hydroxide? Weak base or strong base? Ammonium hydroxide. Maybe you have confusion in the case of strength of the bases, right? So main point you have to keep in mind that in the case of bases, you need to focus here. Generally, sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide, they are strong bases. Then ammonium hydroxide, NH4OH, will be weak bases. So this is weak base, strong acid. So obviously the salt will be acidic in nature because acid is strong here. Is that clear? That's the option B is not the correct answer for the alkaline solution of the alkaline salt. Is there any doubt? Okay, fine. Then what about the case of KCl? We will write down here KCl, right? Potassium chloride. If you are dividing, it will be potassium hydroxide, right? KOH and HCl. Both are strong acid and strong base, right? This is strong base, this is strong acid. So whenever strong acid and strong base are combined together, they will be resulting in the neutral salt. So this KCl will be neutral. What about the case of last one, CH3CONA? You can identify the parent acid will be acetic acid, right? Acetic acid. And sodium hydroxide is the parent base. This acid is weak acid, base is strong base, so basic solution is the salt. Salt will be the basic in nature. So this will be giving alkaline solution when treated with water. So option A and D will be the correct answers here. Is that clear? Any doubt? Now we are moving to the next question. Choose the correct sets of reactions. A reaction is given here and type of reaction is already given here. Oxidation, exothermic, decomposition and reduction reaction. You need to identify the correct set of reactions. Okay, Aravind, which one want to explain? A, D and C, right? A, D and C. What about the case of option B? So according to our question, all the reactions given here is correct, right? Okay, Aravind, just give me a moment. I will just complete this question, then I will repeat it again. So here in the case of magnesium, we know that the oxidation can be defined in terms of the addition of oxygen, right? Addition of oxygen. So here magnesium is adding oxygen. So this is an oxidation reaction. We know that, right? So first reaction is correct. Then what about the case of second reaction? CaO plus water will give calcium hydroxide, right? So this is again we can say this is the combination reaction, or whenever we are discussing about the formation of slaked lime, we know that that will be heat releasing process. Maybe you have idea about that. So heat releasing process are commonly known as the exothermic reaction. Exothermic reaction, right? So again option B is also correct answers. So Rendu, I hope you understand. Then what about this of next reaction? 2AgCl gives 2Ag plus Cl2. Decomposition, right? A single product is breakdown to two or more than reactants, silver and chlorine. So this is again decomposition reaction. Then what about the case of last reaction? CuO plus hydrogen gives Cu plus H2O. We know that, right? Oxidation and reduction in terms of classical concept. Oxidation is the addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. Then what about the case of reduction? Reduction is the reverse process, right? Reduction is the addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen, addition of hydrogen or removal of oxygen. So here you can see this is the addition of hydrogen, right? Addition of hydrogen means this is the reduction process. So again option D is also correct answer. So according to our question, all the reactions are correct set of reactions here. Is that clear? Okay. Okay, Aravind, what is the confusion here in this question? Our question is to identify the salts in water which produce alkaline solution, right? Which means the basic, salt will be basic in nature. So if you want to identify the nature of any salt, first step you need to identify the parent acid and parent base, right? So I will just take one example over here. Okay, let's take the first example, right? Na2CO3. I'm repeating again. First, you need to identify the parent acid and parent base here. So what we are doing here, we will be splitting the complete part into cations and anions. So here, sodium is the cation and carbon is the anion, right? So what we are doing, we will be adding water molecule. Cation will go with the OH minus ion in the water. Then this carbonate ion will go with the H plus ion in the water. So we are getting sodium hydroxide as the parent base and carbonic acid as the parent acid. Now what is your next step? You need to identify the strength of this acid and base. As we already know, right, NaOH, sodium hydroxide is the strong base. What about the case of carbonic acid, which is present in the soda, right? Soda means weak acid. So we need to identify the strength of the acid and base over here, then find out the nature of the salt present here. If you are having the strong base and weak acid, the salt will be having the basic solution because base is strong here. Did you got the point, Aravind? So similarly for all the options you can find out the parent acid and parent base. So I will just give a small table over here. If strong acid and strong base are treated together, you will be getting the neutral salt. Then if strong acid and weak base, you will be getting the acidic salt. Then if weak acid and strong base are combining together, you will be getting the basic salt. So these are the main points you have to keep in mind that about the chapter acid, base and salt. Is that clear? Here is our next question. Identify the isotone pairs. Isotone pairs. What do you mean by isotones? Then identify the isotone pairs. A, B, C, D. All are correct answers. So what do you mean by isotones? What is the speciality of isotones? So these are like the multiple answer type question, right? So option A and C are the correct answers. So what do you mean by the isotone pairs? What is the meaning of isotones? they will, iso means same, right? They will be having the same number of neutrons. So if an atom is represented by their atomic number and mass number, how we can, yes, same number of neutrons, right? How we can identify the number of neutrons? From the atomic number and mass number, you need to take the difference between mass number and the atomic number. So what about the case of this isotope, this isoton, C614? What is the number of neutrons here? 14 minus 6, that is equal to 8, right? So 8. Again, in the case of nitrogen, 15 minus 7, that is equal to 8, which means they are having the same number of neutrons. This is an example of isoton pair. What about the case of first one, second one? 1s2. Neutron will be equal to 1, right? Then for 2He3, this is again 3 minus 2, 1, right? So these are correct answer, right? 2 minus 1 is equal to 1 and 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. Then what about the case of here? Oxygen, 16 minus 8 is equal to 8. Then 17 minus 9 is equal to 8. Then what about the case of next one? 23 minus 11, that is 12. Here it is again 12, right? So which means certainly you are correct. There is a mistake in the options answer provided here. A, B, C, D are the correct answers. Clear? Is that clear? Is there any doubt? Okay, now we are moving to the last question. Which of the following are redox reactions? So this is again the part of first chapter, chemical reactions and equations, right? Which of the following reactions are redox reaction? Redox reaction means that will be containing both oxidation as well as the reduction process. What will be the answers? A and C, right? A and C is the correct answers here. Okay, B is also correct answer. Because in the case of these three reactions, you can say that, right? Oxidation is happening. What about the case of here? 0 to plus 2. Oxidation is happening for the zinc. Then what about the case of copper? Copper reduction is happening, right? We know that. Then in the case of silver nitrate and sodium chloride, here it is again Ag plus. Just give me a moment. We need to calculate the oxidation numbers, right? What about the case of second reaction? AgNO3. Ag plus 1, right? NO3 is minus 1. Na is plus 1. Cl is minus 1. Ag plus 1. Cl is minus 1. Na plus 1. NO3 is minus 1. This is a displacement reaction, right? There is no any redox reaction happening here. So we can say that this is not a redox reaction. So option A and C will be the correct answer. So Sornendu, is that clear? What about the case of third reaction? Mg, right? Mg is in the 0 oxygen state, changes to plus 2. Oxygen is again in the 0 oxygen state, changes to minus 2. Reduction and oxidation happens. So redox reaction. Clear? Then this is the decomposition reaction. Last one. Yes, this is again oxidation reaction also. Any doubt? This is the combustion reaction or the oxidation reaction. At the same time, they will be having the oxidation reduction here, right? For the different substances. Is there any doubt? Okay, this was the last question from the complete mock test for the grade 10. So I'm repeating again about the importance of the SCORE examination, right? Exciting opportunities, exciting edges and scholarships are waiting for you. This is the last day for registering for the examination. Don't miss this opportunity. Those who are not registered, try to register by today itself. Link will be provided in the description. So, and we have already completed many SCORE sessions, right, for the grade 10, especially previous year questions and the revision part. Just rewatch the recorded session before going for the examination. That will be really helpful for you to understand the complete concept. I'm repeating again these 4 chapters, right? Structure of atom from the grade 9, chemical reactions and equation, acid, base and salt, and metals and non-metals. These are the very important chapters for the SCORE examination. Just focus on these important chapters, right? Just focus on the previous year questions. Repeating again, September 28 is the examination. Maybe many of you are having the examination on September 28, right? Register here at the link provided in the description. So don't miss this opportunity. Repeating again, today is the last date. So I hope you guys enjoyed this session. If you really like the session, hit the like button and share this particular session to your friends also, and subscribe the channel for more updates. So that's all about from my side for today. All the best to all of you for the SCORE examination. Do your level best. Thank you so much all of you. All the best.